it's humbling to listen to the whole concept of human dignity. It's huge. It's huge. As you were sharing, I'm just thinking about some of the things that we do that, and I'm talking about we as Ghanaians, people in this country. I've not lived outside the country that much, so I can't speak to what others do. But what we do in Ghana, that makes me wonder whether we value human dignity, that we place value on human beings, just for the fact that they are human beings, first and foremost, and not looking at what title or what accolade or whatever status symbols that they have. And I'm particularly touched by the aspect that you connect, that it's one of the things that is swelling the corruption and all the illegal things that we have in the environment, because people want to be valued. And we have created a system where you need certain status symbols for you to be appreciated in society. So why will people listen when you ask them not to do galamsey or illegal mining, when they can get some money and get some things for themselves, and then they gain some respectability in society? And these things, it's a serious matter you have raised, Prof. It's a serious matter. I don't know if we were just going to dwell on this alone, if this was for all of us on this platform now, if we're just going to take this away and see how can I, as an individual, and you don't need much to do this, show people respect for being first and foremost a human being. It doesn't matter the work they do, it doesn't matter the car they drive, it doesn't matter the type of clothing they are wearing. Once they are a human being, they deserve a certain amount of respect and dignity. And if we're going to do that, people, it will reduce the kind of burden we are putting on ourselves, and all the consumption we have around, and all the things that we acquire and stuff our rooms with that we don't even use, stuff our houses with we don't even use. Prof, this is huge. This is huge. Thank you for sharing that with us. Mr. Soha.
Yes, please. Thank you very much, my brother. Yes. Good evening, Prof.
So you are the Laity Council.
Yes, I'm the Laity Council Chairman, Accra Diocese.
Chairman, yes. I want that to come out.
Oh, okay.
Thank you very much for joining us.
All right.
Mr. Soha,
yes.
Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, I want to say good Prof. Prof, I want like you to establish something for me. Between 98 and 2000, were you as a student or something?
98 to 2000. So I finished law school in 99, and then I started in Harvard the same year, 99.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. And did you have anything to do with the CCR on the campus?
Oh, yes.
Charismatic renewal.
Yes, I was a staunch member of the Catholic Charismatic Renewal on campus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. From 1993, 94. And even when I was in law school, I was still, from 1993, 94 till 1998, 99.
All right.
I was very, very active. I was even the secretary at a point.
Okay.
So I stopped when I left the country. When I came, somehow I didn't record.
Okay, so that satisfies my curiosity actually.
Okay.
Because I had just entered, and I was an executive member of the Pax Roman at the time. And I have been visiting the CCR meetings. Okay. And you were fondly talked about. You know, I remember very well Raymond. I didn't know that Atuguba, but I knew the Raymond.
Okay.
Yes. So I am happy to learn that today you are head of the law school, the dean of School of Law. And I was greatly inspired also to learn of your appointment in Mahama's government. We will need to come together, chart a certain path as Catholics, as Catholics, professionals, Catholic laity, in order that we be able to represent a certain mindset ethically, so we can attempt to shape society. Because this is what we need. We have been outside Europe and elsewhere, but corporate governance is practiced even without knowing by the people in Europe. But this is what we lack in this part of the world. Coupled with our Catholic teachings, social teachings, I believe that we as Catholics, the laity who are out there, if we have these principles and we abide by them, we will do a lot of good to the Ghanaian society and economy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Soa. Thank you very much. So, as I drew attention to, Mr. Soa is the chairman, the laity chairman for the Archdiocese of Accra. Prof, you heard the requests. These are things that we can...
Yeah, we can definitely take up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So there's a question here from, the name is here appearing as Farm Shore Alliance. How do you deal with situation where you do the environmental scanning, you discover a problem you envision to solve, but you are considered the problem?
If you're the problem, your environmental scan will reveal it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're doing a proper environmental scan and you're doing co-creation, that will be revealed definitely. And you have to lead at particular points in time. You have to, one thing about a good leader is to know when their leadership is no longer required. If you're a good leader, you should have a certain agenda to execute within a certain time frame. And when that is done, normally you should leave. When I was going to work for President Mahama, I knew that I was not going to last for more than 2 years. And so I didn't take 4 years leave from the university. I took 2 years leave from the university. The records are there. So when I was leaving and people were complaining, I said, but I knew that I needed 2 years to do what I went there to do. The 2 years are up. It's a decision to take whether you should continue or not. And I took a decision not to continue. So you have to know, I'm even putting it wrongly. It's not that you have to know when you have to leave. You have to know from the very beginning, even before you go in, the task, the leadership task you're going to execute, and therefore what time you need to do it. You need to know well in advance. If not, you're not a good leader. It means you haven't structured your vision properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Hello, my name is Grace Jessica. Sorry that I'm not using my line. Okay, so Doc, I want to thank you very much for the education that you have taken us through. I've really learned a lot from you. I want to ask this question in terms of leadership. Is it only to be in a political domain before your leadership can show, or it has another way of it? That's my question. Thank you.
Yes. So leadership goes beyond the political. One of the things I struggle with is providing leadership to the family. I tend to push it onto my wife, and I tell her all the time that she's the leader of the family. But that's just to tell you that there are different domains of leadership. There's leadership at the family level, there's leadership at the institutional level, there's leadership also at the political level, but that's just one. There are religious leaders, so someone like Father Lawaya, and then the Laity Council person who just spoke.
Yeah, man, yeah.
Yeah, they lead in the religious domain. So it's not just political. It just happens that the political sometimes carries a national character. So it looks bigger and broader. But leadership is not just about quantity, it's also about quality. You can be a leader of an entire country and do absolutely nothing qualitatively. So the quantity is there, but the output is short. And you can be a leader of a small family of 3 people and do so well that the effects can touch so many lives. I always tell people that if I ever become crazy and decide to do politics, my campaign will be centered around 3 issues: family life, health and nutrition, and then economic units. So the first focus will be on family life. How do you create very strong families? Because if you have strong families and the families provide at that level the educational, the health, the social welfare, the psychological, the educational needs. Imagine every little family were strong in that way. You have a completely strong nation. But all you've done is to focus on families. The second, of course, is health and nutrition. All the poisons that we eat just make us, sick. The Cokes and the Fantas and the rest. Meanwhile, we have coconut water, pineapple juice, mango, very healthy things that can keep us strong and reduce our health bill from 40% of national resources to maybe 5%. Imagine the savings that you can create just in that. So it shows you the domains at which leadership can occur, which looks small, but which can have a very big impact. So political leadership is just one aspect of leadership. There are different levels and domains of leadership at the family level, the religious level, and so forth, that are, I believe, even more important than leadership at the political level.
Thank you very much. Prof, there's a question here from Jonas. Jonas says, you have always been forthright in making your views known on seeming politically incorrect subjects. I don't mean to be controversial, but what is your view on Bar Association of Ghana and the recent Lawyer Society of Ghana and the Ghana Bar Association? Prof, you may decide if you want to attempt all questions. But as you are thinking about it, Prof, Father Wisdom Lawe says, Prof, thanks for the great learning you have given us this evening. And then Stephen says, Prof, I was fascinated by your initiative to enroll students every year into Harvard and other universities. over the 150 students you helped. I want to know how you managed to get scholarship for them, because I want to do same. And Father Wisdom Lawe says again, I sat at Prof's feet for both my undergraduate and graduate studies. Thanks for every opportunity. And then Anita also says, thanks, Prof. You taught me at the University of Ghana Business School. And Kojo says, haha, this is a coded response. I think it's a response to one of the questions that came earlier. So, Prof, do you want to comment on this? The Bar Association of Ghana, is it something you want to comment on? You are free.
Yes. What's happening with the Bar Association now points to something deeper, which I believe is even more important. We, as a nation, we have not paid too much attention to our history. And I see a lot of things which occurred in the past and which are being repeated today. And we react to them today as if those things never occurred before. Let me give you one example. There is a law, there is a report about the state of the justice system in Ghana that was produced in the early 1980s. That report analyzed the situation of justice delivery and proposed certain solutions. If you look at that report, the issues it raised are the current issues today. In other words, we haven't learned enough from that report that was produced by the International Commission of Jurists in 1984. If we did, we'll be able to solve the problems in the legal and justice sector, including the creation of a new bar association better today. I don't know if I'm communicating properly.
Yeah. I'm following, yeah.
Again, in the 1960s, the early 1960s, there was a conference on legal education held in Lagos. When we planned our conference here in Ghana, the one we held last year at the University of Ghana School of Law, we set out all the issues confronting legal education. And then we now started researching into it, and then stumbled upon this conference that occurred in 1963 or 64, discussing the same issues that we're going to discuss here in Ghana. The similarities were so striking. And I said to myself, if only we had paid attention to these issues and the solutions that were developed in Lagos, we won't be in the same situation today in 2021 and struggling to find solutions. So I'm trying to give a broader answer to the specific question he's asked. Everybody in Ghana knows today that the legal sector and the justice sector are not the best, and that we are confronting serious challenges. The creation of the Law Society of Ghana is just one symptom of that malaise. So instead of focusing on the fact that a group of lawyers have broken out of the Ghana Bar Association, And I hear today the Speaker of Parliament has joined them. Instead of focusing on that micro issue, why don't we go back to all the ailments that are confronting our legal and justice sector and go to the history and find the solutions that were crafted then, refresh them, monetize them, and implement them. It's not too difficult a thing to do. Look at the reasons why the Law Society of Uganda was created. They stated reasons for their creation, didn't they? We should be addressing those issues instead of crying that a different association other than the Ghana Bar Association has been created. If we don't address the issues, even more associations will be created in the future.
So Harry Bex is asking, Prof, there is a popular quote that talks about dressing as you want to be addressed. Are we agreeing the quote has overstayed its welcome? Would you advise another way to get addressed or accepted that does not have to do with dressing? This is the last question.
So, first thing is that there are certain basic societal rules for dressing. Okay. So you shouldn't, as much as you can help it, dress in a way that makes other people uncomfortable. So you can't take a shirt that you haven't washed and that you have worn for 1 week and which is smelly, and then wear it and then go to class or go to a meeting. No, that's not acceptable. You have to wash that shirt. Okay. If it is a shirt that crumbles, you have to try as much as possible to iron it, because then it looks presentable. You see? So I'm not saying that anyone can dress anyhow, because that even doesn't accord with your own human dignity. Because part of your human dignity is in the fact that you are able to dress in a way that makes you acceptable in the milieus in which you roam and you interact. What I have a problem with is where we are aping dressing. And we are aping dressing mindlessly. Let me give you an example. Lawyers, Father Lawe knows, lawyers wear suits. Then when you're going to court, you have to add a color, a bib, then a gown, then a wig, and then the suit is black, and then black socks, and then black shoes. We all know scientifically that black absorbs heat very fast. We all know scientifically that cool air enters the body through the head, through the feet, and through the fingers. That's why when it's cold, you wear socks and shoes, and then you wear gloves to cover the fingers, and then you wear a hat. Now, one time in 2018 in the UK, when the temperature got to 40 degrees, in the UK, they issued a notice to lawyers that they shouldn't wear the wig. They should just come to court in the suits. At that time in Ghana, it was more than 40 degrees in some parts of the country, like northern Ghana. And we were still wearing the suits, the bib, the color, the gown, the wig. That's mindless copying. The people that you inherited this thing from do it because their weather is cold sometimes of the year, and generally. So when their weather gets hot, they issue a notice to the lawyers, hey, don't wear these things. You might get heat. They didn't add it, but what they meant was that you can easily get heat stroke and die. And yet here, we are still wearing them in temperatures higher than in the UK. That's mindless aping. We shouldn't do that. We shouldn't. That's all I'm saying. However, if let's say you work at PricewaterhouseCoopers, what are these other big companies, and your work setting is such that it's fully air conditioned, your car is air conditioned, your house is air conditioned, means that you have created for yourself a London in Ghana. Then you can wear your suit, because at every point in time, you are in a temperature that accords with that type of dress. But where, like me, there's no air conditioning in my house. When I get to the office, I put the air conditioning off. When I'm in the car, unless it's very hot, air conditioning is off or at minimum. It won't be wise for me to dress in that way, because I'll just keep sweating. I might get a heat stroke and I might die. So that is contextual.
Yeah. Prof, thank you very much. Prof, we are very, very grateful to you for your time. And for those of us who were not here earlier, let me just give you a small bit towards the end. When it got to those leadership traits that Prof has picked, he mentioned two key individuals and what he learned from them. The first one is vision, and the fact that you don't need a lot of time to implement your vision. And he picks that from Jesus Christ. When you set your vision, you train people, and then you give them the space to run with it. That is the model that Jesus had. And he did that in 3 years, or around 3 years, and see the impact. And then Prof also drew attention to Nelson Mandela. And he says that from Nelson Mandela, it's humility that he learned from him, and how to connect with people, even people who seem not to toe the same line with you. And when it got to the value, what he values, he says the concept of human dignity is first and foremost. You value human beings no matter who they are, no matter their station in life. You give them respect, and you value them for being first and foremost human beings. Prof, we thank you so much. Prof, we are very grateful. For me, the very first time I saw Prof or encountered him, oh, we have company, was at a Catholic Charismatic Renewal Youth Ministry meeting at Borga. And I think you had come on holidays and visited us under the summer hat there. And that day you didn't come alone, you came with bread. I remember that very well. And once I was a student at Legon, for those of you who know my story, at a point in time I was struggling and I needed support. I wanted a place to work. And one of the leaders of the renewal recommended that I go talk to Prof Atuguba, and he took me in as a research assistant. And he taught me how to do research and how to write reports. That landed me an opportunity in GIZ, and I got to work in GIZ for more than 8 years. Prof, thank you so much for all the support that you're giving all of us. There are many of your students who are on and are testifying to what you stand for and what you represent. Whilst thanking you, I also want to thank your family. We want to thank Mrs. Sister Pascaline. Thank you very much for allowing us more than 1 hour with your husband, and for the children for allowing us, and especially for the one who loaned us the laptop. We are very grateful for for doing that for us. Thank you very much. And for all of us online, I've acknowledged some of you already. We are very grateful to you for joining us.